All right, so last week we premiered the first episode of a very special podcast. We did the classic turkey drop episode of WKRP in Cincinnati. We teased this episode here that we're about to do tonight. We're doing the Cosby Show. The episode titled Total Control. It's from the 7th season. I didn't catch the episode number. Maybe like 15 or 16?
I think it's 16.
So it's late in the season. Late in the season, and it starred John Ritter and what's his wife, Amy Yasbeck.
Amy Yasbeck. She was just his girlfriend, I believe, at this point.
Well, in my memory,
I
imagined that this episode aired a lot earlier in the course of the series, like maybe like second or third season.
Yeah, like what we talked about last week. I'm like, oh, I think that's a third season episode.
And
I don't think it was that late in the series.
It looks really old too. Like just John Ritter's hair does not look 1991-ish. At all.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing, I kind of was trying to figure out the chronology of this all. So the Problem Child movie probably just came out, I imagine. And John Ritter and Amy Yasbeck are both in that. I believe they play husband and wife in The Problem Child.
In the first one, yes.
And then she's in the second one, but she plays a different character?
Yeah. She plays, what is it, Trixie's mom?
Is she Trixie's mom or is she the mean lady?
She's the mean lady in the first one, who's John Ritter's wife. And then in the second one, she's the nice lady that's Trixie's mom.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. I haven't seen it in so long, so I was trying to place the characters.
I was tempted to try and look up if I could find them online, and then I was like, I don't have time for that right now.
And then in one of them, Michael Richards is in it. Is it the first one? He was the bow tie killer?
Huh. Yeah, probably. I think that's the first one.
And Gilbert Gottfried is in both of them. In the first one, he works at the orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
Then he gets a promotion, I guess, and works at a school. He's like the headmaster.
Yeah.
So is that like a bump up in your pay scale right there?
I have no idea. Go from an orphanage to a school. Either way, you're dealing with crummy little kids.
Yeah, and he was kind of like an asshole too. So.
Well, that's kind of Gilbert Gottfried's specialty.
And then from there, he went on to be the parrot in Aladdin.
And most recently, he was the voice of Otev on Big Brother 16.
The voice of what?
Otev. It is part of a competition on Big Brother. It's veto spelled backwards. It's a veto competition.
Oh.
Which we'll go into one day when I explain Big Brother to you.
Yeah, that's going to be like a 4-part podcast because there's 17-ish Big Brothers by this point in time.
We'll go over the basics one day. I'll get my friend Brandon in and we'll explain it.
I've seen the first one. That's the only one I know.
And that's the one that doesn't count.
Yeah, that was like the dud, right? That was just the trial and error. I know that this season they had a guy on it that was Ariana Grande's brother? Or cousin or something?
Coattails.
Was that true or was that just a rumor?
I don't want to talk about him.
Was that just...
I'm not talking about him.
Was that true?
That he was on there? Yeah, he was on there, and he was awful.
Well, I know he was on there, but is it true that he was the brother or cousin of Ariana Grande?
Brother, yes. Oh, God. Yes, he totally used that connection.
To finagle himself on the show?
Yeah, to, save himself. Oh, it was awful. It was awful.
It ended last week when we did our episode, right?
Yeah, it ended a couple days after we recorded.
Oh, okay. Do you know what I just learned today? And I wish I had known this last week. On the 22nd of September was the 10th anniversary of the premiere of Lost.
You didn't know that?
Well, I mean, I knew that it was the 10th year, but I didn't know it was, the exact day, though.
Oh.
And then, so MTV posted an article they ranked all the episodes, and I don't understand their logic behind the list.
Yeah, you're going to have to send me a link so I can look at that.
Well, I think if you go to mtv.com and just write Lost, it'll probably come up. Take a guess at what their number 1 episode was.
I swear to God, if it's Eggtown, I'm going to throw something right now.
What's Eggtown? Why don't I know that?
That's the episode where they flash forward to Kate on trial.
Well, I think I hated any episode that involved a flash forward or a flashback involving Kate, so... No, it was Exodus, the season 1 finale.
Really? That was their number 1?
That was their number 1 pick, which I didn't think it was that big of... It's not... I had to actually read the description of what happened in order to remember it.
All I remember from that one is, whoa! I have to rewatch. I've been planning on doing a Lost rewatch, and I haven't done it yet.
I don't know if I have the patience for that, though.
Well, I used to, get out my DVDs and rewatch everything before the new season would start. But now I'm like, oh, I have to get all 6 sets of DVDs out and watch them. And I just don't know if I want to, like, sit down and spend that much time.
Yeah, well, the problem with rewatching Lost is you're just waiting for other things to happen.
You're waiting to notice stuff.
You're just like, oh, this hasn't happened yet? Alright, maybe I'll skip the next 4 episodes.
Of course, if you do that, you actually miss something.
Although, for one episode of a very special podcast, I want to do I believe it's the episode that involves who's the girl on the show that gets bit by the spider?
Nikki?
Yes.
You want to do the Nikki and Paolo episode?
Yes, because she has a TV show. What was it? Expose? And then her catchphrase is like razzle dazzle. I'm trying to find it on this list, but I can't. I should probably start from the top because I'm sure it's not that high on the list.
Yeah, it's probably like towards the bottom of the list.
I don't know. There's too many episodes. There's 108 episodes. 110, yes. I'm sorry. No, 11. 111. Alright, so for this week, we decided to do, as I had previously mentioned, the Cosby Show episode called Total Control. So this is the episode that features John Ritter and Amy Yasbeck. They basically play a couple that believe that they're in total control, because Amy Yasbeck's character, I think her name is Alicia.
And he was Ray.
He was Ray. And so Alicia is pregnant. She's like 8 months and like 3 weeks pregnant, so she literally is gonna drop a baby any day now.
Yeah, she's about to pop.
And Ray, who's played by John Ritter, he's a high school basketball coach.
Yep.
Or a gym teacher, I think a coach, or both, maybe.
Like, he said, like, he calls himself a basketball coach, but I'm like, can you really just be a high school basketball coach? Like, don't you have to do something else?
Yeah, I don't think that can be a job. I think if you're going to be a coach,
you have to be he's got to be some other teacher. Like, I have friends that are high school teachers and they coach sports, but they're also like history teachers or math teachers or something.
Yeah, because you don't get paid.
Just coach.
Like, you just volunteer your time. It's not like you're an NBA coach.
Exactly, or a college coach. Like, a college coach, yeah, that's your full-time job, but, like, not a high school coach.
And then,
so he's got to be, like, a gym teacher or something.
Yeah, probably. And then, like, he has a whistle around him. Like, it's so stereotypical. Like, he just has a whistle with him. Like, I'm surprised I didn't give him a clipboard.
Well, no, because he's got the stopwatch, and she's got the whistle on, and they're always just ready to go, ready to blow that whistle and start play 3.
And then in the first scene, he's wearing one of those polyester suit jackets with the elbow pads, like the guy from WKRP was wearing in last week's episode.
Yeah.
So those were still popular in 1991 when this episode aired. And I have never seen one in real life. I've only seen them in TV shows.
I had a college professor, my psychology professor, who wore those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you chuckle?
Was, like, the most boring class ever.
So you just noticed, that's all you noticed?
That class is just boring. He talked like this the entire semester.
Like Ben Stein?
Yeah.
Hello, kids. Open up to page 17. Today we're going to learn about the id and the ego. Who wants to volunteer to read? And everyone's like, me, because I don't feel like listening to you talk.
Yeah, exactly.
So this episode aired in 1991, and as we previously mentioned, we thought that this episode had aired years earlier. I guess it's the way where you're mostly familiar with the show through syndication, so you don't see the episodes in order.
Yeah, because you kind of sit and you watch when you have time to watch, and even if it's like an hour of the Cosby Show, you might get an episode from season 3 and an episode from season 7. So they kind of just blend together in your mind.
Yeah, and you can usually figure out like how old the kids look and if like Lisa Bonet is in the episode or not.
Yeah.
But this episode gets a little confusing because none of the other children are in the episode, so it's
the first episode without Rudy, Theo, Vanessa, Denise, or Sandra.
I don't think Mrs. Huxtable is even in it.
Yeah, Claire's not in there either. Dr. Huxtable, Olivia.
She gets a random scene.
Yeah, like the most random scene ever.
Well,
and then it's all about Ray and Alicia.
Yeah, they cut over to Ray and Alicia's house, and it's a set that looks like it could be the Cosby's living room. It's kind of like just like they redressed the set.
You know, just a tearaway set. It's nothing really special.
And so Alicia is just kind of, I don't know, was she cooking or something like that? I don't know what she was doing, but she was in her living room and she started to feel contractions. And Ray comes home because he was upset because the team had lost.
Yeah, she was setting the table and the contractions hit. like right as Ray comes home. And she's making these grunting noises like, oh! And he thinks that she's just sympathizing with him about the loss.
Because he's like, oh, I can't believe they lost. And she's just like,
Don't ask, we lost. Double overtime, 77 to 75.
Oh!
That's exactly how I felt. I wouldn't have minded it so much, but it was just such a perversion of justice.
Honey, I think...
Yeah, I wish the ref could think. He should have been working a Tyson fight instead of a basketball game.
he was really stressed, so I guess he said a kneaded dough. Because he makes...
When he gets obsessed with baking bread.
So he bakes bread and he gives it to Mr. Huxtable.
Dr. Huxtable. Oh my god, there was like 10 loaves of bread in that first scene.
And all I could think was that there was way too much bread for anyone to eat. And I know, like, Cosby has, like, 15 kids, too. And it's like, he's not even bringing those loaves of bread home.
Like, seriously, he should have just handed that bread to Theo. It would have been gone.
Yeah.
Between, like, Theo and his random friends dropping by all the time. All the kids that live in the house. Like, the husband's always showing up. There had to be enough people in that house to eat all that bread. But it was just sitting in Cliff's office.
Just in his drawer. And he's like, no thanks, I still got that marble rye from last week.
That would have got moldy by now.
Yeah. Well, especially if...
baked bread and, like, had, like, a piece left and it's moldy in a week. There's no way that bread wasn't moldy.
And it's homemade bread, so there's no preservatives in it. So it's only good for, like, 2 days.
Alicia's getting dressed. She'll be in a minute.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a long 9 months for Alicia and me, but I have to thank you, Dr. Huxtable, for being with us every step of the way and to show our appreciation for you. I'd like to give you some more bread that I baked especially for you.
No, I have enough bread.
No, well, you gotta have the egg bread. You give me this. I've got the 7 grain. And this is the bracelet. Well, that's a sourdough. This is the sourdough. You started that way.
Don't forget. See,
you haven't eaten that yet?
No, not yet.
I wanted you to have it. You know that learning to bake bread has been so fulfilling to me. I mean, being a high school basketball coach is a very tense profession.
Yes,
so baking sort of relieves that tension. It also allows me to be creative. If you'll notice, I baked you this pumpernickel in the shape of a doctor's bag. Especially for you. There you go. And I think you might find these tongue depressor breadsticks amusing. Say,
Somehow, Ray got, like, really good packaging for the bread, though. Like, it was almost packaged like it was, like, store-bought.
Just like plastic bag with the little twist tie.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, did he
you
go
can
out?
buy those?
You probably can, but if you were baking bread for somebody, would you actually go out of the way, buy some plastic bags and little twist ties?
I actually have a box of those plastic bags and twist ties in my kitchen right now.
So when you buy bread, you save the bread bag?
No, like, I actually have, like, bags, like, from Walmart that are just, like, plastic bags with zip ties. With not the zip ties, but the twisty ties.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you could save them from previous bread bags. Although, do you prefer the twist tie or that little, like, clip? I like the clip.
Well, most of my plastic bags are the little zip clip thing.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, the little bread clip?
Oh, the clip?
It looks like
I usually get the twisty tie. I almost never even use, like, once the twisty tie's off, and I've got some bread out of the bag, I'll take the bag and I'll, like...
You do the fold over?
I do the twist, and then the fold over.
So you don't even use the twist tie again?
No.
Oh, see, you're disgrace to bread.
I'm awful to the carb.
Oh,
not that they're very good to me either, so...
Well, you're supposed to make it airtight, so that's why you're supposed to use the twist again.
Well, I don't just fold it over, I twist it up really tight.
But, I mean, that's a lot of work. I mean, all you have to do is just get one of those little bread clips, and it snaps in. Yeah. You just kind of spin it, and then it snaps in, and then it's not going to come loose.
Maybe.
Now, do you have a bread box?
I don't.
I don't either. I put it in the microwave.
I can't find a bread box anywhere. I've looked.
I don't think they make them anymore. I think that's like a 1950s thing that kind of spilled over to the 90s, and then they just stopped making them.
Like, I haven't seen a bread box since I lived with my parents.
I don't think my parents even had bread boxes. I think we just used...
Yeah, I think it was actually built into the kitchen. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, I have one of those, but I don't use it for bread, though. I put, like, towels in there. Like, it's in the wall, like the...
Well, it was kind of, like, on the counter, but like, the whole kitchen was wood, and it was just kind of, like, attached. You could never move it, so I think it was built in.
Yeah, but you probably didn't really put bread in there. You probably put other stuff in there.
No, it was bread and tortillas.
And like Doritos, Tostitos.
No, like flour tortillas.
Oh, like if you're gonna make like a wrap.
Yeah, but like I actually have plastic tub that I keep on my counter that has the bread and the tortillas and stuff.
Yeah, I use the microwave because it's tight, it seals, so, and then you don't have to have something else lying around. You just have to remember that when you use the microwave, you just have to take everything out.
Well, I would hope that you're paying attention to what's in the microwave when you're putting stuff in.
I also put like desserts in there, like sweets, like cupcakes. I wonder what Ray and Alicia did.
I don't know, because there was probably bread all over the place. He always seemed to have dough ready to go.
Yeah, it was like he came home and it was out. He didn't even have to like look for it. Like, honey, where'd you put the dough that I started kneading last night?
That I left her eyes.
And then so Alicia's going into labor basically in the living room right there. He's completely unaware and he sits down on the couch to like relax. And then she collapses behind the couch and pulls his hair.
Yes, she like collapses in pain and then she pulls his hair and she like pulls him back. And that's how he finally realizes she's in labor. It was hilarious.
And he's like, why didn't you tell me that you were going... Oh, no, because what was happening is when she was going into contractions, she was supposed to blow the whistle.
Yeah.
And he's like, why didn't you blow the whistle? And she's like, because I was having contractions.
Yeah, because you're focused on the pain. You're not thinking about the whistle hanging around your neck. And she tried to bring it up, but she kept, like, crumpling up in pain.
So now he's like, oh, shit, we gotta go. We gotta get ready. So they have, like, a bag, I guess like a blue bag that they have everything packed to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then she's like, grab the blue bag, and he goes into the closet, and he like actually goes inside. It's like a slider closet. He goes inside the closet, and the door like closes on him, and he's like, I can't find the bag. And then she's like, it's right there on the floor. So he grabs it, and then she's like, grab our wedding photo. And so he grabs this like huge portrait of the two of them, and then she's like, grab the teddy bear. So he grabs the teddy bear.
Yeah, the teddy bear, the pillows, the
apple juice,
the CD or something. Or
there was something else.
Whatever.
So then she goes upstairs to put eyeliner on because she wasn't going to go to the hospital without makeup on. And then he starts walking up the stairs to go check on her. And then she's like, did you call Dr. Huxtable? And he's like, oh shit, no. So he runs into...
He didn't say that, but...
So he grabs the phone, and then that's when she goes, oh, don't forget the apple juice. So he's trying to it's an old phone cord, so it's like stuck to the wall, and he's trying to reach the fridge, and he can't get to the fridge because the cord wasn't long enough, even though he was right there.
It was the shortest cord I've seen on a phone like that.
I mean, usually you have like a kitchen phone, it's going to be a longer cord because you got to be able to hide around the corner and talk to somebody.
Yeah, you got to like be able to go talk on the phone and go over to the stove or the fridge and continue cooking. And it's not like, it wasn't even long enough to go sit down at the table. It was a short cord.
And it didn't stretch either. It just kind of...
Well, it did stretch, but it wasn't long. It was not that long at all.
It was just done for comedy. And they had this, like, pregnancy book.
Yeah, it's like the precursor to what to expect when you're expecting.
And then they had little tabs, like little, like, Post-its, like, sticking out of the book.
Yeah, they, like, marked off, like, all the important stuff. They had that thing, like, noted up.
Ready to go. So Alicia goes into labor and Ray freaks out, so he calls Dr. Huxtable, and I forget, for some reason he has to run upstairs, and then she tells him to get something from downstairs, and this is like that part where he trips, he falls like over a plant, and then goes into the kitchen table and he pulls off, it's a pink like tablecloth that he rips off, everything falls all over the place, and you hear this like crashing noise. It was like the greatest fakest fall I've ever seen in television history. And then Alicia's upstairs.
John Ritter, what do you expect?
Alicia's upstairs, she's like, honey, what was that noise? And he's like, oh, I was just clearing the table. Like, someone just really hurt themselves, and they have to come up with, like, a one-liner.
Yeah.
Like, you just probably broke every plate that you had on there. Oh, do you know what they had to get?
What?
The plastic champagne glasses.
Oh, yeah.
That's what,
Toast with the apple juice.
Yeah, that's what she was saying when he was on the phone. And he couldn't reach to get him.
God forbid they not have the apple juice to toast with.
So then after that, they're now in the hospital. Actually, wait, does something else happen in between? Do we get like a little cutscene, or do they go right to the hospital?
No, it goes to the hospital and he's kneading the bread.
Okay, I feel like that I skipped by on the
well,
Olivia
we didn't
scene.
talk about Cliff and Olivia.
Because I really wanted to bring that up. So all of a sudden, there's the first scene where they're originally at the doctor's office,
Yeah.
And Cliff gives Ray and Alicia their checkup, and they think that they know what's going on, and then Ray's like, well, I'm going to go home now, and they leave. So Cliff goes home, and he walks into the kitchen, and Olivia's just sitting there chilling.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Dr. Huxtable, how can I make some money?
Well, what do you want money for?
For some shampoo and a big brush.
For what?
For the pony I'm getting for my birthday.
What makes you think you're going to get a pony for your birthday?
Well, last year I wanted a tricycle.
Yeah.
I got it.
Right.
This year I want a pony.
Well, I don't know about all that, see, because last year I wanted a Maserati for my birthday, and Mrs. Huxtable wouldn't let me have one.
Well, if you tell Daddy and Denise that I want a pony, I'll tell Mrs. Huxtable that you want a Mr. Raggy.
Now, wait, because Mrs. Huxtable is tough. You understand? Yeah, and she doesn't care about, little cute faces. So I'll be Mrs. Huxtable.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sitting here.
Mrs. Huxtable,
Yes, Olivia.
can Dr. Huxtable have a Mr. Raggy?
No. And don't come to me again asking me that question. What I'm saying is, that's not good enough. Don't you have something else, another... Go ahead.
Mrs. Huxtable?
Yes, darling. What's the matter, my little Olivia?
Can Dr. Huxtable have a Mr. Raggy?
Oh, you look so cute and so sad, honey, but the answer is no. See, you gotta come at... I'm telling you, she's tough. Come on, you gotta go lower.
Please,
Yeah.
Mrs. Raggy.
Yeah.
What's that other show that Bill Cosby used to do? Kids Say the Darndest Things.
Yeah.
I guess it's just like that is what they try to do.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's just her pronouncing it Mr. Adi.
Yeah, what if
So,
Mr. Yagi? She's like, well, if you want a Mr. Yagi, then why don't you ask Grandma or whatever they call her?
Mrs. Huxtable. It's
Mrs.
always
Huxtable.
Mrs. Huxtable.
Why don't you ask Mrs. Huxtable? And then she pretended to be Mrs. Huxtable,
Yeah.
and then he was. No, actually, I think he was Mrs. Huxtable, and she
He was
pretended to be.
Mrs. Huxtable, and she was trying to, butter her up. It was a really weird scene.
You felt like they were going to come back to it, and she would get a pony,
Yeah.
Would
Or
it never-
something would happen.
but it just never happened. And I kind of
Yeah.
feel like that's Olivia's whole purpose to the show. They just kind of use her for cutscenes.
Yeah, just fill in space here and there.
Because Olivia's played by Raven Simone, so she's basically, this is how she was acting So Raven before that So Raven.
This is before her time on Hanging with Mr. Cooper, too.
Oh yeah, she was on that. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
When they needed a go-to sassy 4-year-old, you called Raven Simone's parents.
Well, she auditioned for Ghost Dad, but didn't get it, but Bill Cosby wanted to work with her, so they created Olivia for her.
She was the stepdaughter of Denise.
Yeah.
She was the one Denise was the one that went to Africa for 4 years, right?
It wasn't even that long.
It felt
Well,
like
because
4
part
years.
of the time she was gone from the show, she was on a different world for a year. Because that was her spin-off.
A Different World was on for a couple of years, but she was only on A Different World for 1 year.
Yeah, she was only on for 1 year. But then she came back to the Cosby Show. And then she got written out again to
Yeah.
Africa.
And then she came back from Africa with a stepdaughter.
With a stepdaughter and a husband in the military.
He was the general or the major, what did they call him?
I think he was a major in the
Major.
Navy. Air Force? I don't remember.
I think it was Air Force. For some reason I want to say Air Force.
But yeah.
So that whole scene happens, and then we cut to the scene that we were just talking about that involved the Ray and Alicia at home, and she's experienced her labor. And then, so now they're finally at the hospital. She's about to give birth, and Ray's holding up the wedding folder, not the wedding photo to Alicia, and she's screaming at him, get that out of my face, I hate you, you did this to me.
The classic woman in labor on a TV show, freaks out on the husband, says the meanest things.
And he leaves the room, and then, does he have a heart-to-heart with Cosby in the...
There's this weird pep talk.
because Cosby always knows the right thing to say.
Yeah, he always knows the right thing to say, and he gives him this pep talk, and then Ray kind of like psychs himself up with the speech he gave his team before they won the city championship or whatever. And it makes no sense. Whatever it was he said, he's like, it didn't make sense then, doesn't make sense now, but it worked. All hyped up.
She gives birth to a baby girl.
Yeah.
Then they're happy, and then Cliff smiles at the camera.
Well, no, he talks to them, and they're all like, oh, we're going to be great. We've got this book that's going to tell us how to parent, and we're going to have her diaper trained and on solid food.
Oh, in 3 months, right?
It was like, you guys did not learn your lesson. There's no way a baby is going to be on solid foods at 6 months. Walking at 7. Come on.
Now, did this episode feel like it was trying to launch another TV show?
It does feel like it's a backdoor pilot. But I couldn't find anything that said it was a backdoor pilot.
No, in my memory, this episode was a lot better than I thought it was. Like, I just imagined it being a much better episode, because I was trying to think of, like, my top 10 favorite Cosby episodes, and I probably would have put this in the bottom 5, the top 5.
Yeah.
On the rewatch, I'd probably give it, like, a C at best. Like, a C+.
Yeah. I feel like it was missing something.
But this episode was just very memorable to me, because I just think the only part that really stands out that I always remember is John Ritter falling down the stairs and crashing onto the table, and the table spilling all over him.
Classic John Ritter, physical comedy.
Yeah, he was very good at it. But then when I was starting to look up this episode, I was doing a little research and I couldn't find any information about it.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I could find stuff about like early episodes or just the show overall, but there was nothing about this episode.
No, like not even...
And I thought there would be something written up. Like even just like a random review online, I found nothing.
No, I guess it didn't hold special place in America's hearts like it did mine.
Well, I knew exactly what episode you meant as soon as you brought it up last week. I was like, oh, okay, I know exactly what episode that is. Or at least I thought I did until I actually went and watched it. I remember I felt like there was more physical comedy the first time I watched it. But
yeah, I thought there really only was that one scene in the middle.
Yeah.
Like I remember it was right after John Ritter died. And either Nick at Night or TV Land did some kind of special. They played like a bunch of Three's Company episodes. They might have played something else he did. And then I remember they played this episode. And I just remember it was jovial and I was laughing my ass off. And I was like, oh my god, this is like the best episode of The Cosby Show ever. And then that was the last time I saw it. That had to be at least like 10 or 11 years ago. And then, so I could not wait to watch this episode. I was all excited. Like, I sat down and then I watched it, and I couldn't wait for the episode to be over. I was like, this is the longest 23 minutes of my life.
I was like, is he going to do something funny? And it does, it feels like it's a backdoor pilot, but there's no way I would watch a series about Ray and Alicia.
Well, I mean, I guess if Problem Child was a big movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they made it into a sequel, so, I mean, they're, people know John Ritter from other things, like Stay Tuned. Did you ever see that movie, Stay Tuned?
Yeah, I've seen that.
And...
Let's see. He did Three's Company, he did Three's a Crowd, Hearts of Fire.
This episode of The Cosby Show.
There was another one-season show he did about a high school basketball coach.
Is this the show that you were talking, is this the show?
No, he did a show about, it was this basketball coach that inherited a building and he was a landlord and there was I don't know, I didn't look up to see if I could find any episodes. I should have.
Doesn't ring a bell.
I was reading about it on Wikipedia.
And then he went on to, he was in an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He played a robot.
Yeah.
And then he modeled his way onto the eight ways to date my daughter or something like that.
8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter.
That was it. With Katie Segal.
Katie Skull, Kaylee Cuoco.
David Spade at some point.
David Spade and James Garner joined the show after John Ritter's death. So
he died after the first season while filming the second season?
Yeah. September 11th, 2003, I think.
Oh, he died on September 11th?
Yeah.
Out of all days?
Yeah, out of all days.
I wonder if, like, Amy Yasbeck ever says, like, my 9/11 is when John Ritter died.
I don't know.
What did The Cosby Show mean to you?
The Cosby Show was like, I just remember watching it all the time. It was always there.
See,
it was like that TV family you could always check in on.
They lived in Brooklyn?
For like upper middle class.
Because they had a brownstone, like, it wasn't an apartment, it was like a house.
Yeah, it was a whole house.
It was multi-leveled. And I think, wasn't Dr. Huxtable's office in his basement?
Yeah, his office was in the house, so he worked from home for the most part.
Wait, so when Ray and Alicia were there, they were in the basement, or did he actually have like a real facility that he would go to from time to time?
No, they were in that was his office in the house.
Did he? I can't remember. Did he ever see patients?
I think it's that lower level, because you know how there's steps up to the front,
and then you kind of go down.
There's ground level entrance.
Yeah, and then you go like underground a little bit, kind of.
Yeah. I think that led to his office.
Did he see patients there, though?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be so weird if you're going to your doctor's and you went to his house?
I don't know.
I don't know, that's just really weird. You're going to the doctor and you're going to, like, a creepy basement. I feel like that's...
Well, I'm sure he makes it not creepy.
That's like the start of a horror movie right there. Like, I was worried about the guy coming over to fix the dryer and getting murdered. Never mind going to the doctor's. Where's your doctor? Is it at, like, does someone's a hospital down the street? No, it's in his basement.
It's in a brownstone in Brooklyn in the basement.
I don't even know if that's legal, if you can even do that.
Yeah, you can.
I'll have to look it up. Maybe for the next one.
Especially, I think, in, like, New York City, yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess they don't have zones there in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any last thoughts on the Total Control episode of The Cosby Show? Or Cosby himself?
I think this is probably one of the oddest episodes of The Cosby Show.
Yeah, I don't know where it ranked. Like, we probably could have picked a better episode.
Yeah, we could have.
I mean, I'm sure we'll, at some point in time, revisit The Cosby Show again.
Oh, I have one on my list.
The one that I have on my list, I have two. It's either going to be the episode where Rudy gets drunk.
That's Vanessa that gets drunk,
Oh,
not
is it
Rudy.
Vanessa? Sorry. And it's like the chug-a-lug. Yeah. Or the one where... I think it's Rudy has a party, and there's like all these like kids over, and there's this little like chubby white kid with gray sweatpants.
Peter. Uh-huh.
Those would have been my top two.
Yeah, see, that's different than the one I was thinking.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking the one where Theo is all like, I'm gonna be a model, and he spends the night at Cockroach's house, and he comes back the next day, and everybody set up the house like it's an apartment building. And tell him he needs a job, and he has to rent the room, and he has to buy furniture, and he has to buy his own food.
Oh, I do remember that one. Do you know what I always thought? When I was little, I thought that when I became a teenager, I thought that I would be like Theo Huxtable for some reason.
So did I!
Like, I just thought that's what being a teenager was, like being Theo.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that I would have a flat top. I'd have a flat top and like a wispy mustache, and I'd wear cross colors, maybe overalls with the one buckle unstrapped, and I'd be a really good dancer. And it never happened.
Yeah.
Very disappointed.
Well, to be fair, we probably spent too much time online back then.
If I wasn't online that much, I probably would have been Theo Huxtable.
Oh, totally.
And then would have been a whole different course.
Yeah.
Alright, do you have any last minute words for this week's episode? Actually, I think you're the next one that's going to pick a show.
Yeah.
Have you contemplated what you've decided to
I'm
do?
thinking, I gotta see if I can find... I gotta find a copy of the episode I want to do. It's an episode of Roseanne, but I have to see if I can find a copy of it.
Okay. Should we keep it a mystery?
Yeah, we'll keep it a mystery.
We'll keep it a mystery, great. Alright, well, thanks for listening to a very special podcast, The Cosby Show's Total Control. Join us next time when maybe we watch Roseanne. If not, we'll pick something else.
Yeah, we'll find something.
And until next time.